right. Hello, guys, and I really hope you're doing well. We are on the last section of our onboarding video for you to get ready to use part of the softwares that we will be using at Hyperion there for this boot camp. So we will be basically installing now that last bit that will allow us to operate with Python and some of the softwares, right? So in this instance, you're speaking about VS Code. VS Code is what we call an IDE, integrated development environment. So just look at it as a Microsoft Word for developers. So let's now roll with it. All right, now let's go. We have, remember, um, we will share with you this GitHub repository where you have all the all where you will have all the lectures and the code required for you to start. But then the most important part, once again, is the starter pack folder here that will allow you to start anything that you will be doing here, right? So even after these sets of videos that we're busy doing, please just follow everything here in the starter pack so that you can follow exactly what's going on. Then we will go with VS Code. We want to get started with VS Code. And here we are using the Linux, the Linux environment or Ubuntu. So what we need to do, we can basically use the terminal again, but for this one, we can go to the website that is provided here. And this website will pick up your environment and you'll be able to install the software easily. So if I click on that, I clicked on the link, you see we have two different versions. We'll use DEB because we're using Ubuntu here. So if I click on that, then the download will start. As you can see, the download will basically start working from now. And we will be installing VS Code soon. But while it's installing, just have an idea of what an IDE is, which is Integrated Development Environment. And it helps you to basically run multiple other stuff like Python, Node, JS, PHP, Java. All of those are taken under consideration, but you need to set it up yourself. So now we can see that VS Code is downloaded. What I do, I basically just execute it. Did I download the right one? I don't think so. Okay, we are on Ubuntu. Let's try to download the other one. So, no, it's definitely not that. Okay. We're encountering our first issue here. Perfect. Now we have the possibility of doing something. Now let's do this. Let's install. Okay, let's go back here. We downloaded it with this, right? Let's see what we have in there. Let's open that with the archive thing. Nothing that will allow us to just click and run. That's the beauty of Ubuntu. You just don't click and run. So what we do, now let's do our little work here. Let's go to google.com, right? And then we will say install um, uh, install VS Code on Ubuntu. Yeah, Ubuntu, I think it's the 22nd version. Yeah, so we have that. And then let's say from the terminal. Yeah, we want to install it from the terminal. Now we will be having some commands here. So let's take this very first website that will tell us how to install VS Code on the terminal. As you can see, it's easy to get all of these things here. So all the commands are there. They say open the terminal, now run apt update. So what I will do, I'll open the terminal. All right, the terminal is opened. So what I want to do, let me have the terminal on one side and this page on the other side. So what I'll do, let's open the terminal. And because I can't do it here, because I'm not an administrator, then I have to type SU for super user. I put in my password. That's great. And from here, I'll be able to do sudo apt update. That's to update all my database of packages that I have in the computer. All right. Now they say install. Here they call it code instead of Visual Studio Code. They call it code. So we'll do sudo snap install dash dash classic, and then we install code, right? So just to make sure, just to let you know that we have nothing here, I'll type in here code, we have nothing. I'll type in here VS Code, we have nothing. As you can see, we don't have that. All right, now let's press enter. Then what it will do, it will basically go ahead and install the whole VS Code for us. We try to download it the way we've done that. I mean, the way I've done that with the other operating systems. It didn't work this side. So what we need to do, we need to go to terminal. Linux is like that. We need to interact with the terminal, and the terminal will basically allow you to do all sorts of things. So now it's downloading. It may take time, depending on your internet speed, but you know, uh, I'll, I'll basically pause the video from here, and then once it's almost done, then we'll pick it up. All right, so as you can see here, it's almost done, and we'll carry on from here. And yeah, VS Code is installed. Now, let's just check. Let's just check in the whole applications. You should see a little V there. You should see a little V there uh, for VS Code. So if I type in here code, there we go. We have VS Code installed successfully. So what I'll do, I'll basically go onto the downloads and I'll remove this file because it hasn't been useful to us. So that's one thing. Now we want to open VS Code. So I'll just do code and then I open VS Code here, right? And VS Code will nicely start here, right? So let's now start VS Code. VS Code, this is basically the tool that we all use. I mean, most of us are using for our Python needs and any code editing needs. Like Visual Studio Code is a code editor that will allow you to do all sorts of things code related. So now to basically, let's go through the room. So here you have the Explorer that will allow you to see all the files in a particular folder. Here is the search, right? It will allow you to search through a folder, through a file, and through a set of files. Here it's version control, Git, but then we'll be seeing that in some of the lectures. Here's the debugging mode that will allow you to check a code to for an error. Some code, some pieces of code fail, and then you would like to check where the error is. And here we have extensions. So an extension in VS Code, it's a small application that extends the capabilities of VS Code. In this particular instance, we will be dealing with Python mostly. So we want to make sure that we install the Python extension, and then we'll install a couple of other extensions to make sure that things are working. So here I'm installing the Python extension, and it's going good. So while it's doing that, right, in this extension one, so let's do something. We create a new text file. We go here, file, new text file, and then we do the exact same exercise that we have done in Python, where we'll say, hello, Julian, and then we put that. So what I will do, let me remove this. What I'll do, I'll make, I'll zoom in again. I'll zoom in a bit. Let's keep on zooming in so that, yeah. So as you can see, we basically have all of that. Let's see if the extensions have been installed. Yes, they have been installed successfully, and that's very good. So now, as you can see, we don't have any color coding here, and you can see this gray dot here. It means that the file hasn't been saved. Now, if I want to save the file, I press Control S, or I basically go to File, and then I go to Save, and I can save it on the desktop, and I can call it hello.py. So all the files, all the Python files that you'll be dealing with need to have an extension .py. So the extension is this piece of the name that has a dot and then a couple of characters after the dot. In this instance, is .py. And when you are done with it, you basically click on save. You would see that some colors will come, and you would see that here at the bottom we have Python to basically say that the language of choice here is Python out of multiple other languages that may exist, right? But then we just want to take Python because it has been auto-detected. Now, to run this code, if you remember, to run this code, we either click on run without debugging, right? So you basically go to run and you run without debugging, and then it's equivalent to actually running the file here. And if I go to the terminal and then let me exit the super user and then I type in here Python. Oh, the alias didn't hold. So I type in here Python 3 and then I say um, print hello Julian. And then I have hello Julian that comes in. But then we won't always have that type of interaction with Python through the terminal. So we have our piece of code here where we'll be having a whole lot of things. I'll, for example, have the first name, which is my name, Julian, and then my last name, which is Nyambao. And then I have it here. You see, I can do a whole lot more here. And here, and you would see that during the lecture, you would have, and that's a bit more complex, but we will see that during the lecture. Here we have the first name, and here we have the last name. But for that to work in Python, you need to have this F here, and you would see that the colors will change a bit, right? So this one, we basically expecting from this something like this, print, it will be um, Julian Nyambao. And I'll put a comment here. The comment is basically denoted by a hash. It means that this piece of code will not be executed. And as you can see, we have this little gray thing here. And I'll save the file. The gray will go. And then I'll execute the file. You would see a new tab that will come up to tell me that the execution is about to happen. Now you see, then we have hello Julian Nyambao, and this is exactly what we wanted. You would see that it picked up Python 3 and then it actually ran the file. So that's exactly what I wanted to show you about installing VS Code, and everything has been installed correctly. And from now on, you should be having installed in your computer Git. You should have in your computer installed Python. and you should have in your computer a VS Code installed. So on behalf of my colleagues and Hyperion Dev, I wish you the best in the boot camp, and I really hope that you get something out of it. So good luck and bye.